Hello and welcome to Otakus After Dark, the podcast by adult weebs for adult weebs. Grab your drink of choice and sit back and relax as we talk about origin stories and our preference in characters and how that affects our real life preferences on today's podcast. I'm Dom Hoozle. I'm joined here, as always, with Exile Sentinel, aka Danielle,
Hello.
and Emily.
Hi.
So on the last podcast we heard basically my origin story. Um, so do either one of you want to start out and tell us your origin story for getting into like the otaku world?
Nose goes, Emily, go.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with, I'm fine with going first. I kind of have my basic idea. Um, so my origin story, I would say, actually begins with Avatar: The Last Airbender, which I'm aware is not an anime, but at the time I didn't know that. So I started off because a family friend had introduced my brothers to the show, and then of course I'm just going to do whatever my older siblings do. And I watched it. I loved it. I became obsessed with it. It was so great. And my mom, who has like she doesn't know the difference either. She didn't know the difference. It looked like anime, so she was like, "This must be anime." Um, we used to go to the library all the time, so my mom had found "Oh My Goddess." You're gonna love this song. And she picked it up and she was like, "Hey, like this is anime, and you like anime, so you should watch this. Like, why don't you just take this home and watch it?" And I was probably about 10 years old at the time. So that's what we did. Um, I went home, I watched it, and I adored it. I thought it was great. And my brothers also, yeah. I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, I have to go back and rewatch it, but I really liked it at the time. So my brothers also started to watch it with me, and uh, Erd, who is one of the characters in the show, kind of caused a little bit of a problem because, again, I was like about 10 years old at this point. Um, and my brothers saw this and they were like, no, no, no. Like, this is too scandalous. She's showing her all of her boobs. Our little sister cannot watch this. So they had gone to my mom and basically said, this is inappropriate for her and you have to tell her that she is not allowed to watch it because we have no authority, obviously. Um,
Dang,
so
they
my mom
tattled.
agreed. Yeah, they
Yeah, how
did.
much older are they? Could they watch it?
Yeah, well, yeah. So I have a brother that's 4 years older than me, so he was 14 at the time, and another one that's 5 years older. Well, they were the two that were involved, and I believe Oh My Goddess has like a 13 plus rating, so they took that seriously. They were like, "You're 10. You're not even close to 13. You're not mature enough for this."
Wow.
So yeah, so they told my mom, and she was like, "Yeah, maybe this is not the best thing for you to watch." But I never forgot about it. I was like, I swear, like in that moment, I vowed to myself, I'm like, when I turn 13, this is going to be the first thing that I do is watch this show because I'm going to be old enough at that point.
Did you at 13?
Okay. Yes, literally. So as soon as I just turned 13, I was like, it's time. Like I'm finally old enough to watch it. I've earned this. Um, and I did. So I went and I watched it. But I would say actually probably a year before that I realized that like, oh, I don't have to wait for this show specifically. I can like watch other stuff. Um, and that's when I started watching the classics that I mentioned last episode, or on Fruits Basket, things like that. Um, and because at the time, like I could only watch anime on like YouTube in like parts. Um, I was like, I'm just gonna buy these shows because I want to be able to watch them like uninterrupted. Um, and so that's how I started collecting and how I got into uh, anime and manga. A few years later, manga was later.
I think manga's always later for everybody.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, I was like, oh, what? Why would I read it if I can just watch it? But then I
Yeah.
realized that there are so many series that are not available as an anime.
Really?
So
Well, I think it's
I
also like kids have shorter attention spans, so it's like when you're
Also
younger,
true.
You're like, oh,
Right.
I don't want to read, even if it's a comic or manga. You're like, it's too much.
Just watch
Yeah.
that.
Why can't it just read it to me?
Exactly. So I just started collecting anime DVDs, and I actually still do like Blu-rays and stuff, which I know is not as common anymore, but I still really like it. And then
Definitely
probably
expensive.
it
Yeah,
is
they are
expensive,
expensive. It's hard.
especially for like box sets and stuff.
But like,
It's kind of pricey, but
if you have softwares like or softwares, if you have like subscriptions like Netflix and stuff like that, you can get, most anime with it. If even if you like don't go to like other websites and stuff like that
right.
for it.
Yeah, well, I probably would have done that. But again, when I had started off, it really was, and I'm sure you guys can relate to this. It was, I mean, you could go to things like the pirating websites. I think Kiss Anime was one of them. And
Rip them.
I would just watch
I
it on
definitely
YouTube.
had a questionable site in my history because of one of those, and I
Yes.
definitely got in trouble with my parents thinking I was
Yes.
like watching stuff, and I was like, no, I'm a weeb.
That's why I was so scared to like go on websites like that. So I would just watch things on YouTube, and there would be like 10 parts to one episode because of course, like, I don't know, that's just how it was. Um so I decided it was easier at the time to just buy stuff without actually even knowing what I was getting into. I was just like, I'm just
Definitely
going to buy
was.
this. So um and then from there I was just like, oh, I like this, I'm going to keep doing it.
I feel like that's how I found a lot of like the classic series that I really enjoy. Is just I went into a store when I was in high school, and because there wasn't Netflix back then and stuff like that, like
Right.
Blockbuster wasn't around anymore, but Netflix and all that really wasn't like the norm. It was still a lot of people were still just doing cable TV and stuff like that. There weren't a lot of smart TVs.
Yeah, it
Um,
was the lull in the entertainment.
yeah,
Like, I think it was like Redbox. And then Netflix used to be like they would send you
yeah,
disc before they got into
Yeah.
like the streaming service.
but like the
But
internet still
even
wasn't like prevalent enough,
Yeah.
yeah. And but even as a streaming service, like even a few years ago, like anime was really not, there wasn't a lot of options on there. Um,
No,
at
For
least I don't
sure.
know what it's like for the US. I'm in Canada, so there was not like a lot of anime on there that I could to watch, honestly. I think especially when I started collecting, there was like absolutely zero because it wasn't popular. Like there was no reason for them to like really include that.
hmm
Well, I mean,
So
like Netflix now like funds anime. Like they have their own series.
yeah,
right.
It's crazy how fast they just like took over, you know?
yeah, and
Even
because
like
of that, like,
besides Netflix, Hulu has like a big selection as well that I was shocked about. I only just recently got it from a friend, and there's so like there's so much more like available for people. It's crazy.
but Hulu's like got so many ads, it kind of ruins it for me.
Oh, I
Unless
got
you,
it
We don't have
free.
Hulu. We don't have it here, so sad.
um,
And that is really sad.
but yeah, a lot of series that I'd pick up in like just video stores where I'd just pick it up and I'd look at the cover and I'd be like, that looks cool, and I end up buying it, and it wasn't like I could resell it or whatever or take it back really most of the time
Yeah,
because those stores didn't have
exactly.
would have like no return policy. And it's like, you buy it, it's yours. We don't
It
want
kind
it.
of
We don't
like
want it back.
it kind of makes me feel so old just thinking about the fact that like the first anime I ever watched was from a library. Like I don't think a lot of kids today can relate to that, right? Like it's
I'm
just
I used
so
to go
surprised.
to the library
immediately
all the
available.
time to
My
get movies and TV
Yeah.
shows.
Well, my biggest thing from your story, Emily, was the fact that your mom got it for you.
Oh, for sure.
I was like,
Yes.
what?
Well, the thing is like Avatar, because again, it has the same animation style, right? Um, and I repeatedly watched it over and over. I think I don't know when Avatar came out. It was like 2005 or something. Um,
Yeah, well, now
I think
so
Avatar's
it
seen as like Western anime.
yeah, for sure. But I watched it over and over and over again. So
It's
it came out when I was
February
around 6.
2005 to July
Yeah.
2008.
Okay, yeah. So I was around 6 when it started. And then I just watched it over and over and over again. So my mom knew that I was like kind of obsessed, and she was like, "Well, if you like this kind of thing, then like here's another option." But for her, not that Oh My Goddess is even really that bad, but obviously I was young.
Oh My Goddess is like
I
a very
think
tame series.
yeah, it's not. It's I don't know. I guess whatever. My parents are
It's
just
her
protective.
brothers.
Well,
Yeah, my
especially
brothers.
like compared to the manga is like got some it's got some stuff
Right.
in it.
I think my mom was just thrown off because it's like from her perspective, it's like, oh, here's a cartoon. Like a cartoon must be for children. So she was just like, oh, you should watch this. She didn't read the back or anything or even look at the rating.
But it's like you look at stuff
not that it was that bad.
You look at stuff that was made for kids, and it's like a lot of them have like very adult humor in it. Like I remember the
Right.
SpongeBob movie having Patrick in pantyhose, like and being like kind of like the stripper high heels and stuff like that.
For sure. You can go back and watch Rugrats, Angry Beavers, any of them, and they just have that adult humor that kids will like laugh at just because it sounds funny, but then like adults actually understand the meaning, and then it's a whole nother funny aspect to it.
Right. The main problem, honestly, was just Erd. That was the main problem. Was just like, oh, she's showing too much skin. She's too sexual. This is a little too much for my childish daughter.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah. So I honestly, in a way, I have my mom to thank for all of this, and I don't even think she knows that. She has no idea.
Wow,
but
good
she's
mom.
she's kind of the catalyst for really me branching out and like really obsessing over anime. And even to an extent, the fact that I was banned from watching it until I was 13 also kind of made me even more obsessed with it, because I don't think I would have had the same conviction
yeah, I think
had I just been able to watch
helps
it.
spur you on.
Right. So what about you, Danielle? It's your turn for your origin story.
So I was born fairly early in the 90s, so I grew up with like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh on like Saturday mornings on TV, and like Toonami at night. So I'd watch things like Yu Yu Hakusho and like Samurai X, which is Rurouni Kenshin. But like I didn't really process what they were. I was just like, oh, this is cool animation. Look at all this. This is fun. So I don't think I really understood like that I was like into anime until like middle school, because like looking back, like I say Cowboy Bebop is my favorite anime of all time because it's like nostalgic reasons, because I do remember it growing up, but it doesn't hold the same meaning to me then as it does now, like the meaning of the actual story. Or even Sailor Moon. It was just like, this is like pretty and fun and like she's kicking ass, cool. But like my actual like I would say official introduction into the anime and manga community was like 6th grade, was it? Yeah, it was 6th grade. I started dating this guy and he was like a full-on weeb and was like really into Naruto and got me into it. And like he made me like a couple like burned CDs with like different anime openings.
Oh my god.
And like even then, like that got me into the music. I would just like listen to anime openings on my little Walkman like CD player, and I was like, oh god, I'm really like aging myself now. Back in the day when you made mix CDs for your significant other.
I love that's so cute. Your 6th grade boyfriend made you a CD.
Yeah.
You burned a CD.
And then like I had a cousin who was like into manga. She's like 3 years older than me, so this was still around the same time in middle school. And she had like DN Angel and Rurouni Kenshin, and we would go to Barnes and Noble together, and she's the one who really was like, oh, this is the manga section. Maybe there's something you like. And that's when I picked up Godchild that I mentioned before, and Death Note and Hellsing. Those are like 3 of my oldest series on my shelves that I've had for 10 plus years now. And then yeah, I just kind of went from there. I had a Gaia Online account, which I still can log into. I would watch anime on YouTube as well. Um, risk getting viruses on my computer watching on those sites. Definitely got chewed out for possibly watching porn on my computer
Oh my
when I was
God.
actually watching anime.
Yes.
Um, definitely bought Vampire Night to watch the full series because I couldn't find it anywhere, so I bought it on iTunes.
Vampire
Um,
Night. See, that's another one that brings me like back. Vampire Night was
takes you back, yeah.
yeah, that was popular. That was like one of the top at the time anyway.
See,
I
like,
mean, it's back now. They have Vampire Night Memories.
I
Oh, real? I
remember,
didn't know that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I remember watching a lot of series on like YouTube as well, but like not from like Funimation and stuff like that, but from people like actually just uploading parts of episodes like on their channel.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Well, it was also like the days of like watching like the OVAs and the what is it? The like music videos that people would make.
the
The
AMVs.
AVs. Yeah, the AMVs. That was a
I
time.
used to love those at like conventions and stuff like that. They'd have like you'd have to vote on which one was the best in each category and stuff like that.
I had a period where I kind of fell out of anime and manga and like otaku culture, mainly because it was like I was graduating high school and then I went to college and I basically was at school from like 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day that I just would crash every day and just had no time to do fun stuff or like read ever, you know? Like I'm already reading for class. I don't want to read for fun.
Yeah, that's actually like that's the same with me, honestly. I feel like there was a period during like high school where I just kind of stopped collecting and I felt I just was kind of too busy and I just kind of stopped.
Yeah, I definitely stopped collecting manga during that time because I didn't have the funds because I was paying, for gas and for books and all that stuff, and like only had a part-time job while at school.
Right.
But like once I graduated, and especially because of, Corona happening right now, I have a lot more free time, so I definitely really dove back in within the last year, which is nice because it's like I'm finding like a piece of who I was, but like more mature now, you know?
See,
Yeah.
I've had a different experience where I didn't start collecting manga till like really start collecting it till like maybe like a year, 2 years ago. And I had some series, like I have like one volume of Black Cat and one
Mhm.
volume of Azumaya uh, Daiho, Azumanga Daiho, excuse me, um, and stuff like that. But I didn't really. I was more into collecting and buying anime, and it wasn't until like DVDs was just a waste of money because you know you have all these different things you can go watch them online. Funimation has a lot of series that are just on their YouTube channel, and if you have an ad blocker, it's like you can watch it without ads. Um,
That's interesting because I've always been more on the book side of things, even if I couldn't buy it. Like, like this might be controversial to some people, but like I do read scans, but if I really like a series, I will support and pay for it, obviously, with
well,
the books that I have.
we could have a whole topic about scans
Yeah.
because I have
Scans, yeah.
I think they're fine for the community, and I don't think they actually harm it at all. And I have a lot of reasons for that. And I think
But
they're
we can do it another time.
yeah,
That's a
we
whole
could. That's a
episode's worth of
whole
content.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
like a
That's
whole
a big
nother
topic.
thing.
But
Yeah,
it
I mean
definitely can help hold you over.
the only stuff I really like when I read manga, like I said, before I read it at the I got it from the library and I read it there and then take it back and I'd if I didn't read all of it I'd renew it, and if I did then I'd go see if they have the next volume. If not, then I'd get something else.
Yeah, I just recently picked up the Cowboy Bebop manga because I remember reading it at the library. And so I've been like reading through it and I was like, I remember all this. I kind of just like envision like actually having that library book. It's crazy having just like those memories connected to something.
So I guess,
Dom,
well,
did you have anything to add to your origin story from last time? I know you told us, but was there anything you missed?
um, I mean, not really. I pretty much, when I commented on your guys' stories, I pretty much added whatever missing details there were. Um, but like I said, I wasn't really big into, I wasn't even big into reading manga in general until, like college came around, and I just had, after like I'd watched every anime and like the stuff I like, and even
Mhm.
explored a lot of things that I just didn't like, but I watched it because I just didn't have anything else to watch. I went through and watched pretty much every romance anime you can think of, and I watched it. I had watched all of them.
Yeah.
I couldn't find anymore. I went and I searched up romance anime, and
Oh my
people would
god.
put on the list, and I'd be like, I've seen it all. Seen it all. I either didn't like it
Yes.
or I watched it. I need something else. And that's when I found manga scans. And I started reading scans online and stuff like that. And then I was like, oh, this is cool. And then recently I was like, it's great, but like the scans would like, uh, they wouldn't show up, like they'd get taken down or whatever, and I'd be like, oh, I can't read this chapter anymore, and that really sucks because that would be my favorite chapter or whatever. And actually, the one that started it all was Horimiya, because I really liked I like Volume 5, and for a time being, the chapters for Volume 5 were gone. And I was like, no,
Damn.
that's my favorite volume. So, and I searched up, Horimiya manga, on Google to see if another site had it, and then I was like, oh, there's a physical English copy, and I was like, well, I'm gonna buy that. So I got all that stuff, um,
I
and
think
it just
that was always a nice feeling too, as you got older and realized, hey, there might actually be a physical copy of something that I really loved that I don't have to keep looking online for it and hoping that it's still there, you know?
yeah, and now I don't have to stare at a screen for like hours on hand.
Oh, I
I
hate
can.
reading online. Like, if I don't have to,
It hurts my
I
eyes.
won't.
So
I
like,
got my blue lens glasses on right now.
but
That's
like,
interesting.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't read scans really. Like I literally was just in the bookstore and that's how I picked up my first volume of manga. And it was really on a whim because for the longest time, like I said, I was kind of just like, well, if I can watch anime, I'll just do that. Um, but makes me curious, like, what was your first manga volume that you ever collected? Mine personally was Demon Love Spell, for anyone that's ever heard of that.
I have not. Um, Mine
first
definitely
volume.
was Godchild. Godchild Volume 1. And I guess shortly after, I think I got Volume 1 of Death Note.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
I'm trying to think what the
I was an
first
emo
one.
kid, so those two titles definitely called to me.
So I would say the first manga I ever got was in a DVD. Like, it was part of the set with the DVD. Like, you bought the DVD movie, anime movie, and you got the manga, and that was the Yu-Gi-Oh movie.
Oh,
And I don't know where that volume is. It is somewhere
damn it,
buried.
Dom.
It's somewhere
Why?
buried
How could you
in.
lose it?
It's somewhere buried in my mom's attic, and I'll have to find it at
Find
some
it.
point. But
Disrespectful to the first manga volume you ever collected.
but
That should be in like
after
a
that,
glass case displayed in your room or something.
I went to Barnes and Noble, and I found Wolf's Rain, and that was 2 volumes, and it was a very good series. I love that series. I loved it so much that I lost my Wolf's Rain 1. I have no idea where it went. it's just completely gone from. It was in my possession, and now it's not. And because of that, I rebought Volume 1 just to have it again. I don't think I'll ever.
The dedication, though.
I don't think I'll ever reread it, but I love that series so much that I had to have it. Then
Did you guys read the I don't know if you had these in Canada though, Emily, but we had like the Shonen Jump magazine and then the Shoujo Beat magazines.
Oh, I had one like volume of like the big one, and it had like a chapter of like Naruto that I would always read over and over again. I forgot about that.
I definitely used to buy those if I could. Like if I had the money on hand and if my mom and I were at the store and they had it, I definitely would pick up one of those.
I don't even know how I got that. Like someone must have given me that, because it was just I had that one random one and that was it. And then
It was the only time I ever read Prince of Tennis, and I was like, I'm not into this, but it's in this book, so I'm gonna read it.
yeah, there were a lot of series that I was just like, I'm reading it because it's in here.
That's the only time I read One Piece. I've never read any more One Piece since then.
That's a shame. But
Fake weeb,
get
fake
into it.
weeb.
yeah,
I am. I can't do it. I don't want to be the
Posers.
Pirate King.
all these
You know,
women, they're
no,
posers.
I tried to get into it too, and I think I don't know what episode. I started watching the anime a long time ago because when I first
Oh, I'm
started
also just too
watching,
intimidated. It's
I
up to
mean, yeah,
chapter 1000.
it's long. Like when I first started watching anime, I literally just looked up a list of like most popular anime, like what should I be watching, and I gave it a try, and I think I got like 13 episodes in, and I was like, no thanks. Especially because I had to like find it all online. Like
Yeah,
it was too difficult.
work.
I was like, I can't do this.
See,
YouTube is not providing enough of this for me, so
that was different from me, because I literally went from watching like Yu-Gi-Oh and Naruto that were on like television and stuff and I could get at like your local Blockbuster. That was a thing. That was fun.
I love Blockbuster. Oh my god.
But I went from that to finding the most underground romance stuff that you would never. Have either of you heard of an anime called Angel Tales?
No.
Exactly. Have either of you heard of an anime
But like,
called...
wait, Tails? Like Tales or Tails?
I could look on my shelf, but I'm not getting up.
Okay.
It's about so that well, I'll get into it in a second. And then the other one I want to say that's super underground that I know neither one of you have heard of is called Sister Princess.
Wait a second. Wait. Sister Princess. Why does that kind of sound familiar?
All right. So
hold on a second. I have to do some research real quick while you explain this.
So Angel Tales was about a guy who loved his pets so much that they came back as girls. They came back to life as girls or whatever, or they were transformed into girls, and he has a romance type thing with his animals. They have no like animal parts at all, so it's not like furry stuff, but it's like it's such a weird premise. That's so weird.
Interesting.
But I have it sitting over on my shelf on DVD. And then Sister Princess was about a guy who his father, I guess, is wealthy, and one way or another he tells him to go. I think he tells him about how he has a sister or whatever, and he tells him to go to this island to go to school on this, like, basically it's a private island. And so he has a house. He has one male friend who's like this random person that's on this island with him and his like butler, who pretends to be every single thing. So he goes into like the school and the butler is the principal. He goes in the class and the butler is the teacher. And he goes in the class, or he goes to a shop, and the shopkeep is the butler. And he'll be like, "Jeeves, what are you doing here?" and he'll be like, I don't know who Jeeves is. I'm this person. It's just so weird.
Dedication.
But yeah, so this whole island's run by his one miler who runs, I guess, back and forth between everything, dressing up in costumes and stuff.
Oh God.
I'd be getting paid good money for that.
And so it's him, this guy friend that he meets at the school, his butler, who's everybody else, and his like 20 sisters who come out of the woodwork being like, hey, you're my brother. And I can't remember what, I don't know if he has to like figure out if they are his sisters or not, or they are his sisters. I don't understand. But like, this kind of like weird ancestral type relationship happens with them. But not really, because it's like, it's more like, I don't know, it's like a sibling love, I guess. But there's always this undertone that they like him more. I think it's a cute series. It's tasteful, at least. It's not like something like Kiss X Sis, where it's just like degenerate. But yeah, I liked watching series like that on YouTube. And they're very underground. Other stuff that I watched that is like recognizable to me is like Funimation put up an anime called Udawara Mero or something like that. I don't really remember the premise of that. I remember the name because it was unique, but that was about it. I remember it was good. It was real good.
At least you knew the name, so if you wanted to go back and watch it, you know what it is.
Well, I have it on my shelf, so.
Oh, that's true too.
If I want to go back and watch it, I could go take it off my shelf. But so I guess we should get into. So I went into like romance there a bit. So let's talk about, how has our manga and anime influence, affected us, like our taste outside of anime. Like, what is your taste inside of manga and anime, and how does that influence you outside of it, like in the real world?
Well, Emily loves the bad boys.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, okay, I guess I'll just go first then. I feel like my taste is pretty diverse, like honestly, but my main thing is the bad boys. I love it. Like
You also like
the two I can
men that have no jobs.
Okay, well, calm down for a second. We'll get into that,
We'll get to that.
Okay, thank you. We'll get to that. Thank you. But I was gonna say that when it comes to anime, my type tends to be either the stoic, like quiet guy that like doesn't
Same.
show his emotions, or the kind of blunt, slightly mean, like cool type. Those tend to be the ones that I gravitate toward. And honestly, I feel like that's pretty common for a lot of female weebs. I feel like I'm not alone in that at all.
So what do you
Emily
mean
and
by-
I are the same on that.
So I'll have to ask, like, what do you mean by like the stoic, quiet type? Do you mean like a shy type, like book nerd, or do you mean like the principal, or not the principal, the like president of the student council that's cold and like calculating?
Like in that situation, for me, it would be like the student president who's like cold and just doesn't talk unless he has to.
Yeah, I think so. I guess the most it's hard for me to even think of
The emotionally
someone
cut off.
specifically. Yeah, like somebody that just is just kind of minds his own business, and he kind of is done with everybody's crap, sort of thing. Like
So
just,
like the
he's
guy
just
in
chilling.
Snafu.
Maybe the person that's coming to my mind most recently would be the guy from Jujutsu Kaisen, Megumi.
Yeah.
Him, like he's like he's the best example I can think of on the spot.
Even my man's Nanami in Jujutsu Kaisen is also that same kind of just like he gets to the point,
Right.
and it's just
See,
like straight to business that I'm just like, daddy.
I love. Okay. Well, we can get into that. I have a third type because Dom brought it up. But yeah, I have only watched 7 episodes. But he is like the, if anyone's wondering exactly what I'm talking about more so his type and less. Like another example could be like Yuki from Fruits Basket, but he's less so. Like he's kind of more. I don't know. Like he's a little more shy, I feel like, is more his personality. The cold stoic type for me is not so much about shyness, it's more just that he doesn't like people, I
Like
guess, is kind of.
Shishomaru.
Yes. Okay, he's actually on I made a little simp list for everybody. But he's on my list. He's definitely one of the tops for
All
me.
right,
But
Well,
yeah.
we can get into like
We can get
waifus
into
and
that later.
husbandos like at the end.
Yeah. But since Don brought it up, I'll also mention that I do like the older man type as well. Not like super old, not like Watari
not like
from Death Note, but like he's too old. He's like a grandpa, but you know,
Watari.
yeah. Like can you,
What a
he's just the
random
I'm
first one
one
that
to
came
sorry.
to my
bring
mind.
up.
The one person to think of, and she's like,
Uh,
"Oh, Watari."
no, no, not him, not him. Just to clarify, he's like too old. I'm talking about like Aizawa Eraserhead from My Hero Academia, which is what Dom was referring to when he said homeless man.
You
I
like the
definitely,
uncle
I
type
like it.
characters.
No, 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 not the creepy. No, you're trying to make it seem
No,
creepy.
no,
I
no,
don't
no.
like the
I'm
creepy
saying like
uncle type.
you like the like uncle that like comes in and he's like kind of like a silver fox.
Yeah, or yeah, like I like the when I say, and also when I say older too, I feel like I'm just talking about guys that are in their maybe 30s to 40s, typically. But in anime, it really depends too, because a lot of the silver foxes they look really young. Like they could be like 60 years old and they look
So
super young. So
it's really funny that you like bring this up because I literally read a manga and now I'm like, oh my god, the main heroine is literally Emily. And
oh
I'll have to link it to you after we're done with the podcast. But it's definitely something you should read.
God.
But
Okay.
even like it kind of shows his older version. You'll see what I mean by that when I link it. But like, and I'm like, oh, okay, he looks good.
Nice. Nice. So I'll let Danielle or you take it away for what you are into. I feel like we've talked about my preferences.
Well, how does that? So how does those preferences in the manga affect you in like your regular life? Do you feel like you go for older guys or like the bad boy types?
Okay, first of all, I'm not gonna say I'm not like out here dating 40-year-olds or anything. I definitely would say that I do like people older than me though. Like I more so than people my age. I don't vibe with that. Um, but I don't know. It's hard to say because a lot of the time I gravitate toward those things, but I'm not necessarily saying that I would want somebody that's like emotionally closed off in real life. I think that what I do like about it, or what I can say, is that I I like, first of all, and Dom knows this, and like anybody that even knows me a little bit knows this. I do like the teasing and the bullying a little bit for like the mean type guy, but also just the fact that like these types tend to be blunt and there's no fakeness behind anything that they do or say, and I am attracted to that in real life. I really don't like people that I feel like are trying to hide behind some sort of persona or trying to people please. And they never actually reveal who they truly are. And so I think I am like attracted to people that are just completely 100% themselves. Um, and they have like convictions and beliefs behind what they say. So I do feel like it influences my taste that I tend to be interested in the blunt type, I guess.
All right. So Danielle,
Yeah.
do you wanna come off her stuff and tell us what your type is?
I agree with the stoic kind of serious type. Um, I do like ones that will kind of bully the main girl or protag that and like
Amazing.
tease them. But I also kind of like certain characters. I do like the ones with the cocky attitudes, not the ones that are just like overly like like they keep doing it that it just gets annoying after a while. But like I really
There's
love,
a reason behind their cockiness. Like they
yeah,
have a
like
reason to be cocky.
yeah, they know they're hot shit and like we know they're hot shit, so like
Yeah.
they get a pass for me. Um, but I also do like the like besides the stoic like serious type, I also like the soft like kind of nerdy type.
Oh,
The boys that are just like, like we've been friends since like we were kids and like I'm now confessing to you as we are going off to school or things like that. Like it's like what I'm in, like it depends on like what day I'm like in what mood for, you know?
Mhm.
right. I agree with that. I will say like I'm not against like a little soft boy. They're really cute too. So like I feel you on that. What who can you
We
give
do
me like
not
an
like clingy
example?
people. I don't like
Oh
clingy
God.
people.
Okay.
Um,
I, I
I
was
like
just gonna
just thought
say.
about it. I was like, because in real life, I cannot stand like people that are just like, oh my God, we should spend all day together, or we should like text all all day.
Where have you
Like, tell me
been?
what you're doing.
Where
Yeah,
you
like I
left?
dated a guy like that before, and I could not do it. I was like, "It's done. Please stop."
I think there's a healthy
Um,
amount in
Dependent.
any relationship.
yeah. You wanted an example for like soft boy.
Yeah, just because I feel like there's so many different types that it's just it gives
One
me a
that I'm
better idea.
like uh specifically like thinking of is Hirotaka from Wotakoi, where he is like very
Okay.
stoic and like quiet, but like
He's a
he's
soft
not
boy.
doing that because yeah, he's not
He's
doing that
just
because
shy.
he's like mean or anything. He's shy because he does like the girl, but like he's just playing it cool, you know? Like he knows he's liked her since they were kids, but he's not gonna tell her that. And
See, I think
he's
you're
doing his own
saying he's
thing.
playing it cool, but I think he's just so nervous he can't like articulate
That is true. That's true
what
too.
he
Like the nervous type.
yeah.
Especially because as it goes on, it comes off as more as that. When you first start the series, it kind of seems like it's like the cool type because, he's out there smoking his cigarette, just like doing his own thing, and he's like, maybe we should date because we're both otakus. But yeah, I do agree that he is probably super nervous deep down, and it's just the nerves and shyness getting to him.
That's so cute. I
Yeah.
support that.
But what about you, Dom?
Well,
Um
wait, before we do that, like let's talk about your preferences in real life a little bit first.
yeah.
Oh, no, like I just like people that are also very honest because like if I'm gonna be straight up with you, I want you to give the same back. Like
Right.
I don't date just to date, like
Mhm.
I can't just like I like want to be in a relationship, so I don't
Mhm.
like want to just mess around just for, like I'm dating just to have fun and like dating's fun and all, but like to me
Yeah,
a relationship is like a serious commitment kind of thing.
Mhm.
So, um if you as long as it's just like you're you got your own thing going on, you respect my space, I respect your space, we both like are kind of on the same page, I'm cool. I I don't really have that big of a preference
I
beyond
can see
that.
that from you. Like the more I get to know you, like the fact that you like Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen, like he's like your well, from what I know, like he's like one of the main guys that you
My
sing for.
main stand right now.
And I can see that so much, like the confidence and like you can just tell like he would be like kind of an independent person. Like he'd be like, not that he'd be like a distant boyfriend or anything, but like I can see that you would want somebody that's like confident enough in themselves that they don't need to be like clinging to you 24/7. So I can definitely see that, honestly.
Yeah, like we are our own people. Yes, we are like together, but I don't want that to like lose our identities, you know?
Mhm.
Right.
So that's how I feel.
Your turn, Dom.
Oh, so I have a lot of like preferences in like manga, like wifey.
God.
So like I
Lay
like
it on
Pick your
us.
top.
so
Pick your
I
top
like
like 2 or 3.
I like the tomboy type characters for sure. I like the kind of like sporty girls with like the shorter hair. I guess they'll sort of in manga they'll always like kind of had tan lines and stuff like that. Um, and I also like gal types. So the like blonde hair with like they do the nails and stuff like that. Like if you've seen like Gal Gohan or My Dress Up Darling and stuff like that. Even Horimiya, um, she's a gal type. You know, so that was kind. Um, as far as any other like specifics, I'd go for probably the stronger female types. I really like the females that don't take anything from anybody, and they're like I could stand on my own 2 feet. Um,
Right.
and I don't know. I don't have a lot of more specifics for those, except for I like the more mature types too. So I guess that goes hand in hand with the the strong female characters because I like the older women characters. So I like all the ara ara like One-sans and moms and stuff like that. I see one in a series and I'm like, that's my girl.
Mom's like, that's it. Done.
She'll show up for 2 scenes, but that's the one. That's the one.
It's in the background.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Um. So how that?
So like,
Go ahead.
go ahead. No, I was literally just gonna say, so like, how has that influenced your taste?
Yeah. So that's I guess like uh the type of girl I'm attracted to usually is like I really do like sportier girls, and I do like the kind of like almost gal type girls where they're like um blonde hair or they're kind of like all about the like my past ex was like all about makeup and hair and all the fancy nails and stuff like that. Even though I'm not
So you have
interested.
like 2 different extremes
Yeah.
in a way, because you like the tomboy and then you like all like the girly girl.
Yeah.
But like, would you say that for both? Because I feel like for a tomboy, it
And
would
then
fit that
I
she would
do
have like
like
a strong
do like
personality.
older girls too.
Oh, well, yeah, that okay, yeah. Um,
So
He's
So-
into the cougars.
so for a tomboy, it makes sense, like that she'd have a strong personality. But do you also prefer that in like a gal type girl? Like, would you want? Is that just across the board? Like, she has to have like a, I'll fight you back
yeah,
on
well,
stuff
I
kind of
mean,
personality.
you've seen because I mean when we talk like I can be sarcastic and I tend to bully and tease and stuff like that. So I mean if she's a
Dom is ruthless to me and a huge bully for anybody that wants to know. He's so mean to me.
only
Second
Emily.
that.
Yeah,
Only Emily,
Yeah.
for sure.
it's just me.
It's okay.
Sad.
Me and Emily are close
Okay.
enough. But like so
Yes.
so I would say I need a girlfriend that can like stand up to that and do it just as much back to me, you know?
Okay.
So yeah, I guess I do
respect
like
it.
the stronger types. Cause like if she's gonna cry when I bully her, it's like, oh, this is awkward.
That's not gonna. You couldn't be in a relationship with Dom if you're gonna cry when he bullies you, because it's just 24/7.
Yeah, it'd just be
Ruthless.
like, oh, you're gonna cry now? What are you, a baby?
Mom's like, I don't have emotions.
I don't. I can't. I can't be. I guess sympathetic to people. I could hear out
Oh,
your
God.
plight, but I'm just gonna be like, that sucks. Anyways, But yeah, I would say that's how it's kind of influenced my type. But I mean, going off of that, so I guess we can get into like the waifus and husbandos and stuff like that.
Ooh, what a
Go
list.
for it.
So I would say my top three, and you're gonna
Are
see.
you doing top threes? Oh, God.
Three?
Okay.
Well,
How can I
I'm just
choose?
going over my top three. I'll do top five, I guess.
God, I feel like we need
Okay.
to make an Instagram, and then we have to do a post for the listeners of just
Yes.
our simps.
I
Um,
agree. Yeah, let's make an Instagram and throw all of our just throw all of our whole list on there. An appreciation post.
So my favorite, I'm only doing five because I could be here all
Okay.
day talking about
He went
Yeah,
from 3 to
right.
5.
every single one. Yeah, I mean, look, I easily went to five. I was at three, and you guys were like, "Oh no, three," and I was like, "All right, I'll add two more." But
It's so hard. Okay, but yeah, go
so
ahead.
Marin from My Dress Up Darling,
Oh,
Gal.
He's so
and
cute.
Also, she's a strong character, but also she's just like, I love like the scenes that like show her as like this fluffy character too, because like she won't stand for anything, but when she's like literally simping over the guy, she's just like I don't know, it's like the way they draw her,
When she-
like her hair gets all fluffy and like her facial emotions just give me like this marshmallow feeling, you know what I mean?
Like when she first like looks at him like that, oh my God, like she was just so giddy. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, best girl.
Then there is Hori from Horimiya. Again, another strong female, like gal type. And then I like Hanako from Watakoi. And that's, the older woman.
I could see that.
Then I like, there's Nagatoro from Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. She's more of like, stronger female type that also can bully, and she's also like more of a tomboy because she's like a sporty girl. I wouldn't say I lust after her. I wouldn't say she looks very childish, but she doesn't look mature enough for me. I guess that's my thing. Then there is Tomo-chan is a girl. Again, another tomboy character.
Those are some solid choices, Dom.
Yeah. I love them
I
all.
support it.
So, what are your
Emily.
guys' choices?
Oh, you want? Am I going next?
You can go if you
Okay.
want.
I can't do mine in a particular order because I feel like everybody's so different. I'm not gonna say like this is my number one, man. So we're just doing 5.
Yeah,
Is that
I
Yeah,
pretty much
well,
only
okay.
We can
wrote
add
on
more
this.
as we go on.
Yeah.
Right.
Each week, add a new one to the list.
The waifu corner or
Oh
husband
my God.
corner.
Love. So my top has to, or the one that I mentioned first has to be L from Death Note because it's
Oh my
I know
God.
it's basic. I know, but stop. Listen to me, Dom. Okay. Just wait. Everybody just listen to me. First of all, he's like my first love. Like he's the first that I like hardcore was like I am in love with this anime character. He was like
The dude that doesn't
my
get enough
first
sleep.
simp. Yeah.
You're
Well,
like,
you did say I like
he's
homeless
got
men,
bags
so
under his eyes and he doesn't shower. That's my
love
guy.
that. Well, you don't know that he doesn't shower.
He
Calm down.
looks like he doesn't
doesn't
shower.
sleep. Well, he's
Everybody
a
else's
genius.
hair is normal. Why is his sticking up like it's greasy?
Oh my God. I love it. You know what? I didn't judge your choices, Tom, okay?
My choices were solid choices.
Okay. L is this he's popular. I feel like he is
popular
for a lot of girls.
He's certainly popular.
He is a genius. He's funny.
Is he?
Hello? Yeah, he is.
I don't remember the series too much.
He's like trying to
Okay.
sell him to us like we're her parents, and she's
Yes.
bringing him home to meet us.
Yes, I have
Like
to
I'm the
justify this
disapproving
because
dad, and she's
I
just
know.
like, no, he's great.
But I love him. I know. I know the judgment because you know what? Whatever. I love him forever and always. He will always be like in my top. I can never get rid of him. Like he is the one. And actually the other day me and Danielle did a bachelorette simulator and he's the guy that won. So
He
is
won.
it destiny?
Yeah, I know. You tried to
Maybe.
get me to do that, and I was like, "That's too much work."
Yeah.
So I don't
Honestly, we're gonna have to link it into the description of the podcast because it is a fun time.
Yeah, everybody should do it. It's a little time consuming, but
There's some typos
yeah,
that'll
it's worth it.
crack you up, but
Yeah.
it is great.
It is fan made, so that is why it's not like an official thing. But yeah, anyway, the next, and I'm ready for Dom to judge this one too. Although actually, maybe not because you probably don't even know who this character is. Phaeton from Hunter x Hunter
I don't know
is
who that
also okay. Well, most people I'm sure probably have an idea, but like he's a very short, tiny little emo man, and he is like evil. Like he's like crazy. He's like a psychopath.
Is
but
he the jester one?
no,
He's
ew,
so
no,
bad.
no, 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 no. He's the pedophile. That we don't vibe with that here,
What?
Dom. Okay.
I'm sorry, I've never watched the series.
Well, you have to. You have to now because
I don't.
truly, there are so many men in that series. Honestly, for me personally, that could get it. So, anyway,
Okay.
so he's
Learning so
again.
much about Emily today.
I love him. He's so
Thought
great.
we all knew each other.
He's kind of a more minor character, but he is amazing. Then I'm gonna say Kyo from Fruits Basket, of course.
Kyo's a good
Again,
choice.
another popular choice.
Solid.
He's great. I don't even think I really need to say anything about him. Wonderful.
I voiced him in a bridge series.
You what?
I voiced him in a bridge series.
Oh, okay then.
Way back when I was in high school. Oh my
We're gonna
god.
have the group watch now.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh my god.
I'm so glad that
React
most
to
of
Dom's abridging.
No, I'm so glad most of that stuff got taken down for copyright. Oh my god.
And then Aizawa from My Hero Academia. I'm hardcore for him too. Like he again.
He's
all
like
of them
recently on your list, right?
yeah, he's one of the most recent because I'm like I said in the first episode. I'm watching the series currently.
So far, you've had
Again.
one not guy in his 40s.
L is not in his 40s. And
Yeah,
I don't
no.
think
L looks like he's in his 40s.
no, he does not.
He's so
he's like in his
greasy and
20s.
depressed.
No, I hate that. And I don't know how old Phaeton is. I assume he's also like in his 20s.
Yeah, I don't think he's that old.
And then Kyo's a teenager, but we're gonna gloss over that anyway.
Yeah, we're just gonna age up for
Well, I mean,
non-creepy sake.
well, a lot of like high school characters, they look like they're in college.
But also, we've been in this so long that I've loved some of these men for since I was a teenager.
I mean, it's true. I did start. I started watching Fruits Basket when I was
so me simping
14,
over
13 or 14.
certain characters is mainly just because I've always liked them, like when I was younger, and I think it just carries over that they are my love.
I think also like people just kind of put themselves back into high school setting when they have those kind of stories and imagine themselves like at high school.
Yeah, that's also true. Us
with
going
these
back
people.
to the projecting ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, the truth is that the high school characters in anime series most of the time are not acting like high schoolers. Like their problems and their life are so it's like so beyond that, to the point where it's like I can't even. I don't know. I don't even really associate them with being like 17 or whatever. But anyway, we can talk about that on another episode. I feel like that's also a whole episode worth of content.
Really.
And for my last one, I'm gonna say Sesshomaru because again, he is just like he's so fine. I love him. And he's cold and he's like kind of evil but kind of redeemable. Love it. So cute.
Solid. That was wonderful.
Yeah. Not apparently it wasn't to Dom, but whatever. I'm not here for
it's
your
just Dom.
approval,
A lot of them I just don't know. So
That's also true.
I can't really judge. I could judge two of them.
You'll just judge L.
I could judge one was greasy and one was alright.
Okay, well, whatever.
All right,
That's
Danielle.
your opinion.
I hope you have some better choices. What do you got?
Well, Emily already brought him up, but my number one simp over right now is Satoru Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen. Love him. Best
Right.
boy. Enough
He's
said.
hot. Yeah.
Um, and then number two, we'll have to go back to the roots and Spike Spiegel, a
Yeah.
babe,
Spike.
always like badass. Ugh, so good.
Bad
Love
boy
him.
with issues.
Truly. Probably where it started from, where it all began. Um, Number three will have to be Ryuji Sakamoto from Persona 5, Persona 5 Royal, Persona 5 the animation, all Persona 5. Because he is best boy, kind of a goofball, but so
So far,
good.
he's the only one I'm not familiar with, but I can always look into him later.
Yeah, I'll send you stuff. I got you, girl.
Thank you.
Number four is Reno from Final Fantasy VII. So he's from a video game, but it's still Japanese otaku culture.
Yeah.
He is my cocky. Technically, he's a bad boy because he works for the bad guys. Definitely, like,
Hot.
got rid of, like, help destroy part of the city. But we're not going to talk about that because he is hot and I love him.
It doesn't matter.
Fair enough.
I mean, there.
Forgive your husbands.
Oh my god.
You know, love is
there
blind.
are. Yeah, there are some characters I would go evil for them. I would be against everybody for them. It doesn't matter. So I support it.
Or, like, you know what? Maybe if I was in that world, I'd help turn him good.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
That trope, you know?
Why that is
No wonder
I don't know.
that
Is
trope
such a
so
common girl
big
thing to
in,
say.
like, that is such a like huge trope.
I'll fix
in
him.
Shoujo and
Like,
all.
I will fix him.
romance in general
My
that have
love
female leads.
will fix all.
That I mean, girls are like that. I feel like that's part of the appeal is like but like
It's not
hates
good when it
everybody.
translates into real life, though.
No, absolutely not. But
Let's disclaimer, does not work in real life with bad boys.
That is true. It does
You
not.
cannot fix him.
Someone. They won't
Don't try it.
change.
Don't try it. But like that is the appeal is like, oh, he hates everybody and he's evil and he's like a horrible person. But like for me, he would be like the nicest guy on earth. I just know he would. Like maybe not realistic, but girls love that. So
Final Fantasy VII Remake, they popped off. They knew Reno fans are major simps and they thirst over him because he is chest out, like titties out. Like they made him, you know. My fifth one would be Alucard from Helsing because we got to throw a vampire in there. And, you know, he may be Dracula, a couple of 1,000 years old, but in his regular form, he's very hot.
Yeah.
And
it's okay. I put
And he
the Shomaru
only
on my
murders,
list. So
several hundred people. It's fine.
hey,
it's fine. It's fine.
it is what it is. Okay.
He's killing Nazis.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he gets rid of the Nazis, so we have to stand. And then last one, who shall we give it to today? We will go with, let's do Sanosuke from Rurouni Kenshin. He is another early love of mine because I read Rurouni Kenshin pretty young, and I was always in love with him and protected myself. And I was like, "Ooh, I could make a fan fiction of my original character in there falling in love with Sanosuke."
Yeah.
Kenshin
The
one I
OG
picked
loves
up.
hit different. So
Kenshin
Really
was one I picked up and like dropped, like early on.
hmm
I don't remember why I dropped it. I remember liking it, and I was just one day I was just like, "All right."
I've always loved the series. I definitely do not condone
the author
what the author went through and like what he did and all that. And
and his
I
punishment.
yeah, definitely for sure that Japanese people don't know how to dish out punishment for things like that.
Yeah.
But
Topic for another
I,
day.
yeah, I have already owned Rurouni Kenshin, so I'm not going to give it up. And I have consumed what I want from the story, and I do enjoy it for what it's worth.
Yeah, you can also separate the story. Like, it's not about what he, like, the stuff
Yeah,
he did. So,
It's like separating the art from the artist, right?
yeah, for
And
sure.
I mean, you could say the same thing. Like, there's famous artists whose art is in museums that we learn about in history books that they were actually, you know, the big pedophile words. Um, so, I mean, you have to separate at some point.
Yep. I mean, again, this is like a topic that I feel like could be a whole episode worth because I know that it's so controversial, I guess, within the community, and
Oh, for
there are a
sure.
lot of varying opinions on it. So I don't know.
So I don't want
Let
to
us know
end.
and we'll gloss over it
I don't want to.
another time.
I don't want to end on like this such a like depressing note. So if you
So
could
we're gonna talk
have
about tropes.
no, so uh, if you could have one of your like anime slash manga crushes to date, like you don't worry about if they're like, you know, high school in the actual manga or anime.
Right.
Like you're the same age or whatever, or you can be whatever age you want. Um, who would you pick as your number, like the person you had to pick to bring to
Like
life? And
right now in this
date?
current state of myself.
Oh God, that's like, what kind of question is that, Dom? That's so hard.
It's definitely a toss-up between Gojo and Reno because they're both the same kind of like self-confident, cocky kind of person, and I think that's what I'm currently attracted to.
Yeah,
Um, but if I had to choose, it might have to be Gojo.
I respect.
I'm simping too hard right now. I
I
can't not pick him.
yeah. Yeah, I'll just go with Aizawa from My Hero Academia currently. Like if you would ask me in this moment, especially because I feel like some of my crushes are just unrealistic. Like if you actually were to be with them, they would just be like not. I don't know. Like I don't know
Mhm.
what they'd be like in real
I
life,
would just see you and Elle sitting in a room, not talking.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, eating
He'd
cake.
be eating his cake and just
Yeah.
typing away on a computer, and you'd just be like, "So
He
how's your
doesn't have
day?"
time. He doesn't have time. Listen, he's trying to save the world. It's,
Of course,
it
of
just
course.
wouldn't work out.
What about you, Dom? Which
So
girl?
mine is definitely a toss up between Hanako from Watakoi and Marin from My Dress Up Darling. I love Marin's character so much and like her personality. Uh, and Hanako, I would say physically, I'm more attracted to her. But like, I think the big thing is like either one. So Hanako loves cosplaying and stuff like that, and obviously, um, uh, you know, her significant other in the series has more of hobbies that I have. Um, him,
It's kind of easier for you to project yourself as her
yeah.
significant other.
While on the other hand, Marin, you know, she also has um, her hobbies in the otaku stuff, but I don't feel like, and she also obviously cosplays as well, but I don't feel like I can project myself as much as her significant other than I can with Hanako, so I'm gonna have to go with Hanako.
See
Nice.
that?
I support it.
Invite us to the wedding.
uh,
Well, yeah, that might be a bit complicated for
yeah.
Dom. Yeah.
I don't want to be one of those weebs that marries their body pillar or whatever.
Oh gosh.
But anyways,
Me in a few
so
years.
I feel like we've gone on quite a while for this second episode. Um, Thank you everybody for joining us for this amount of time. I hope you enjoyed our talks. I hope it spiked
Yes.
some conversation with you and either in comment section or with anybody you're listening to this with.
Yeah,
And
let us know in the comment section your origin stories and some of your favorite
And who
series
you
growing
simp
up.
for. And who you simp
Oh.
for. That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I care about. I want to know who everyone is simping for right now.
all right, guys. Well, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.